Welcome back to the Thomarosa. We have another train video for you today because we have to build a depot for Metaline Falls. In real life, Metaline Falls sits at the northern terminus of the Pend Oreille Valley Railroad. And on my layout here, Metaline Falls is going to be represented by this Y. You can see I have my little Pend Oreille Valley Railroad train sitting on it right now. But this is a dead-end branch line, and this is where the little town of Metaline Falls is going to be on my layout. So before we get going on the build, let's look at some photos of the prototype. Okay, this first set of photos I took a couple years ago in 2018, and I will tell you the depot really looked nice. The city of Metaline Falls did an awesome job of restoring the depot, and I don't think it's ever looked that good. So this first shot is the east face of the building. This is the side that faces the tracks. This is the south face. Look at that dapper gentleman there. Anyway, pay attention to that wall. We'll get back to that in a minute. And then this is the north face. And then finally we have the west wall. And this faces into a park area and the downtown area of Metaline Falls. Okay, here is another set of photos I took back in 1998. So this is before the city of Metaline Falls restored the depot, and at this point it was definitely showing its age. So the first photo here is a 3/4 view. It shows the east wall, which faces the railroad tracks, and the south wall. You can tell that the door replaced a window. Now when they restored the depot, they did a good job of patching in the clapboards, but in this 1998 view you can definitely tell that there used to be a window there. And this is actually an element I want to try and recreate on my model. I kind of like that patched in look. Also here on a photo of the north wall, you can still see that it had its station sign at that time. And then finally here is the west wall that faces into the park. For my depot, I'm going to be taking a few creative liberties in constructing it. Because of my small layout, I will be doing some selective compression. So my model isn't going to be the scale length of the actual depot. I'm probably going to eliminate a window set on the long walls. But otherwise I want to try and maintain the feel for the depot. And also I'm building this out of a lot of scrap parts from other kits, so it's going to be interesting to see how I can piece things together. So what are we going to make this depot out of? Well, I have these leftover pieces from a kit I never built. I really like the clapboards on these walls here, so I'm hoping I can salvage enough of this material to make the walls of the depot. And I'll reuse some of the windows that came with this kit as well. And then I did order some Grant Line door and window castings to better represent what was actually on the depot. So Grant Line's been around a while, but it's now actually part of a San Juan Model Company. So I just ordered these off their website. And then I also have some just evergreen styrene here, different pieces that I think I might need. So with that, let's get started. I've got my 4 main wall pieces cut out. Managed to get all the material I needed out of that old kit. And so now I'm just kind of mocking up where I think window and door placement should go. And then I'll start cutting in the openings. We got one wall mocked up. The windows and doors aren't actually glued in. They're just dry fit. It'll be easier to paint them separately and then install them. But I'm liking the way this is looking. I got my 4 walls cut out. Got the windows and door openings put in. The windows are just sitting in there loose. And I think I'm going to call it a day. I spent this morning gluing up my wall sections. I did actually add a second window on the back. It's just to make it look more like the prototype. This would be the south wall. And then the east wall facing the tracks. And then the north wall. So I have all my walls glued together. And now I'm going to go ahead and paint it. You know, it's pretty thin plastic, so it's a little translucent. I'll probably paint the inside black as well, because I want to light the building, but you know, the paint on the outside will help too. So I got to get this painted up, and then I'll go back to working on doors and windows. And then I have modified a window here with this trim to better reflect the actual trim. Well, I got my 4 walls glued together and my windows modified and painted, so now I'm just going to install the windows. I also gave the external walls a coat of gray paint as well. Once the windows are installed, I'll probably touch up some of the white paint and then shoot it with dull coat. Alright, just to get you caught up to date real quick, the main walls are done. Virginia made me some awesome signs. I haven't installed them on the ends, but I think she did a bang up job. Got the Milwaukee Road style lettering. And so now I'm working on the roof, and what I'm using is the same leftover material that I made the walls out of. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use the back side, the smooth side out. So really I'm just using it for the styrene, but I will be applying shingles to that. Got the roof glued on. I painted under the eaves and the trim, the edges white. And now I'm going to start shingling. And so I did a few experiments and I found that I needed to sand the styrene to get enough tooth for the glue to stick. These are the shingles I'm using. It's just on paper. And these were actually left over, these were left over from the Great Northern Portable Depot kit that I made. The manufacturer provided 2 options for roofing. I used the cedar shake option on the kit I built, so I had these composite shingles left over. The roof is shingled. It's very tedious, but I don't think you can beat the results of the individually applied shingle strips. It really looks well. Also, I went ahead and added the signs on the ends of the buildings. So now you know it's the Metaline Falls Depot. Now I need to add a smokestack, and I found this in an old caboose that I don't use anymore. So I'm going to drill a hole on top and shove it in. Here we have the Metaline Falls Depot placed on the layout. Virginia and I tried a few different locations, but within the Metaline Falls area we decided that the inside of the Y there was the best spot. It's where we liked it the best. So there we go. I did want to give a quick update on the Newport Depot, which was the subject of my last model railroading video. And if you recall, the trim in that video was a pretty bright green, and it just got to me. So I went ahead and repainted it olive, and I really like it a lot better. I'm very happy with the decision to repaint it. And then I also added a train order signal. I had ordered a train order signal through San Juan Details when I got the windows and doors for the Metaline Falls Depot. And unfortunately, I really didn't like it. I ended up using the targets that you see here, but the rest of it was not very good. So I pretty much just constructed this from scratch. So that brown bracket is just a leftover piece from another kit, and then the rod there is a piece of phosphorus bronze wire, and then I just had a square block of styrene I drilled a bunch of holes in. I reused the targets like I said, and then the lantern is actually a leftover piece from a Caboose Industries switch stand. So I used the lantern off that, and I added jewels that I bought. And I think that is a pretty awesome looking train order signal. Probably not very prototypical, but it's my layout, so it's my rules. I just really like the way it looks. And as a parting shot, I just wanted to show you a photo out of the first quarter 2003 edition of the Milwaukee Railroader. And what we have here is a photo of the Metaline Falls Depot with a Milwaukee Road caboose in front of it. We'll get the caption on there. Taken in 1979. I just thought this was a cool photo. Well, thanks for coming along as we built this depot here on our little model railroad of Metaline Falls. And stay tuned. There'll be more model railroading videos in the future. It's getting to be summertime, busy with farm work, so it may be a little while. But stick with us. We'll be back.